G'day folks, it's your boy Tom Cochan here once again with another EDO Pro replay for you guys. The deck that I'll be testing out today is actually an OCG deck that I found on the, it's called the Organization. It's a website that posts OCG decks from the OCG Twitter account. It's quite a nice deck with this new card coming out being Magical Broker. Really does help the Draco strategy because it basically can't be destroyed by battle or card effects while there is a continuous spell or trap on the field, which is great in itself. And on top of that, during your opponent's turn, you get to pop 4 cost a spell or trap and then draw a card, which is absolutely excellent. Works great with the Draco spell and traps, the ones that allow you to pop. You got Apocalypse, you got Disciples, you got Heritage, all that sort of thing that allows you to pop either their back row or a monster during their turn and get a draw is absolutely excellent. So looking at the deck here, let's just scroll down a bit to where it was. Yep, I pretty much just took the entire build from their website and that's what we're going to be testing out today. Didn't make any modifications, I just wanted to see how their build went. So let's jump into the replays. Alright guys, so let's jump into our first replay here. We got the first one up is going to be against OCG Orcust. Load her up. Alright, cool, let's swap her over so that we are on this side. So, first of all, they're going to go with their Armageddon Knight, sending their Harp Horror. That's the difference about the OCG and the TCG in terms of Orcust. They actually still have Harp Horror in their format, whereas here it's banned. So that allows Orcust to still be a top tier deck, as we can see it running Rampage in the OCG quite often in their format. So he's going to go into his Dingirsu here and then finish up on IP Masquerena as well as the Orchestrated Babel in the Spell and Trap Zone. The first thing we're going to do is try and remove this IP Masquerena just to force it out. He's going to go into Harp Horror to summon his Simple Skeleton, and then we're going to go into our Diagram, popping our Apocalypse to clear that Simple Skeleton. Heritage is going to allow us to get a draw, which is good, and then a Tribute Summon for our Majesty Maiden. On this, he's actually going to activate his Simple Skeleton here to summon the Dingirsu, and then get the attachment because he is going to lose that Babel, otherwise he won't get a chance. Alright, so we're going to be able to attack over it here, which is good, but still, for him, he's got the graveyard loaded, which means he can just play regardless. So that's the thing about Orcust, they can just continuously keep playing the game as long as their graveyard is Orcust. How insane is that as well? He's got a Jet Synchron too, so we don't have that in the TCG either. That's been banned now as well, but still floating around in their format. We're going to pop the Scrap Recycler here because we don't want him to go into any Scrap Wyvern shenanigans. And then he's going to actually summon True King of all Calamities on us, which is not too bad against Draco. I mean, they do use their monsters a fair bit, but it's more so, it's too easy to clear with their spells and traps to be too much of an issue. So we're actually going to chain here, get our search for the Heritage, and we're going to be able to activate that and Tribute Summon here. Not that we actually need to pop anything in the back row, but just to get that extra draw here. And then we're going to go into our Disciples for a bit of resource management. That is what Draco does best. Resource management and continuously draw. So we're going to get the Vanity's Emptiness, another banned card in the TCG here, and this is pretty much going to lock it out at this point. He's not going to be able to special summon his Dingirsu back. He's not going to be able to go into his extra deck, which is a big problem for Orcust, unfortunately. I can see why this card is banned in the TCG, but yeah, just the way it is. It's pretty fun having it in the OCG, and it's pretty fun playing it in a Draco deck, I must say. So here we're just going to set to, in case he does attack into them, because they're both Magical Brokers, they won't be destroyed by battle. So that's not something we have to worry about, and the occasional 500 damage is also not a big issue. We're just going to bide our time until we can get enough board presence, which is this moment now, to actually be able to attack for game. So we're going to draw here. We're going to Tribute Summon off our True King's Return to pop his True King of all Calamities, and then we're going to go in with more than enough damage right here. So we get the win against Orcust. That's great. Let's jump into the next one. We're versing Kaiju here. This was an interesting replay. So he's going to be going second, as you do with Kaiju. That's pretty standard. Pot of Duality. It's going to get us into our magical broker here. I'm going to summon that and then get a True Draco Heritage on the field, which I'm going to tribute summon off for the Majesty Maiden just so I can get a card of demise. But unfortunately, I get into triple safe zone. Not that good, to be honest. We're going to get our Heritage to get a draw here, which is going to get us the Dynamite Knight, which unfortunately we can't summon. We've already used our normal and our extra tribute. So he's going to have to go to the grave. We're going to chain Majesty Maiden here, and then when he slumbers, we're going to chain the safe zone, which is going to protect us from that slumber. Being a Kaiju deck though, is just going to tribute over that, and that's going to send that to grave. And we're actually going to use his counters on Q2 Waterfront just to negate his effects during his turn, which is another interesting feature of the Kaijus. So another bit of resource management here, shuffling the important cards back into the deck to get an extra draw. Card of Demise, what do you know? They got 3 in the OCG as well, which is basically what allows this deck to actually be functioning. Because we don't have the Card of Demise in the TCG, it's okay to have Diagram at 1. It's not a massive issue, but actually having Card of Demise at 1 is a massive issue for this deck. So Pot of Duality is going to get us into our Dynamite Knight here, and we're going to tribute off the Heritage, which has more than enough battle damage to get in for game, I do believe here. Yes, indeed. So we're just going to win that one with a fair bit of ease. Going into our game, we'll go into, OCG versus Infernity. Now, he's got Jet Synchron as well. Swap over here. He's going first. Void Apocalypse is going to discard that to send finish Rhino Warrior. That's going to send the Conjurer, and then send the Stygian Street Patrol, which is going to allow him to summon the Infinity Archfiend from hand. Pretty cool. He's going to go into Proxy F Magician here, which is interesting. I think he was going for maybe like a special summon lock going into the Starving Vending Fusion Dragon. Obviously, if it's destroyed, it basically wipes all my special summon monsters, which is not a big deal against Draco, but obviously he doesn't know what he's playing against. So it's a good lock to have there. The Dugaris into this Infinity Archfiend, and then we're going to Cross Sheep into the Necromancer, bringing back the Archfiend once more, and that's going to allow him go for Infinity Launcher, which is going to put him into Appaloosa. He's in a good position now. He's got a 4 negate Appaloosa. He's going to bring those 2 back, and then he's going to get his Barrier, as well as going to the Nightmare Phoenix and looping with the Necromancer to get back the Archfiend once more for a suppression. So it's a pretty good setup for him here. It's going to be a little bit difficult for us to break this board, but we'll try nonetheless. We're going to go into Magical Broker and Disciples the True Draco Phoenix. We're going to pop his suppression here. Probably would have been wiser to go for the Infinity Barrier, but it's not going to make a huge difference in the long run. We're going to Desires, and that's going to bait out that Infinity Barrier, because we do have the Card of Demise, luckily. Going to go into our Heritage to get a draw, and the draw is we've got double safe zone again, lucky us, and into Domain. So once the Domain lock is established, it's kind of like Vanity's Emptiness for a lot of decks. They struggle to get through it. If they can't access their extra deck, they're going to struggle to play the game. And especially with cards like Safe Zone, protecting the Magical Broker, protecting itself, Domain Lock, it's not looking good. He can do a bit of damage, but he can't actually get over these cards. And the Infinite Impermanence is not going to help him greatly in this scenario, having the Safe Zone on my Magical Broker. So all we're going to do at this point is just attack into him. We're going to set our True King's Return so that on his turn, we can obviously pop it with the Apocalypse and then lower his attack, allowing us to get over his monsters a bit easier. So he's going to go for some plays here. They're not going to amount to much. And as you can see, this is where we choose to activate our True King's Return. We're going to destroy the Bow of the Goddess, and then his Starving Venom is going to get destroyed because that has lower attack. He's going to go for his last, not his last barrier, just another barrier here. And then we're going to shuffle and draw. Absolutely great card, Disciples. It's really what makes True Draco's a punishing deck. And he's eventually just going to scoop once we pop the barrier here. It's just going to be a losing game from that point. Let's jump into our last replay here now versus OCG Eldlich. It's going to be an interesting one as well. You can see we've got Chicken Game here, which is also banned in the TCG. Alright, this is a pretty fun card, to be honest. If it stays on the field, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You do want to clear it as soon as possible, so that your opponent doesn't get the draw effect off Chicken Game. And I do love that it's actual, like a searchable Upstart Goblin as well. I think that's quite cool. So he's going to send our Ignis Heat here to the grave, and then he's going to send his Mistake to summon that. I feel like he should have kept the Mistake on the field because it's actually really good against Draco. not allowing them to add cards from deck to hand, but it's not going to matter really. Going to go into Disciples. That's going to eat the Conquistador. We're going to attempt to pop it here, but he's actually got the Judgment for our Apocalypse, which is not going to allow us to lower the attack of his Golden Boy and then be able to get over it. So here we're going to go into our card of Demise, and we're going to get lucky enough to get a couple of good draws off here, allowing us to pop the, the tuner, just in case he had that extra deck combo, synchro combo, that sort of thing. But I don't think that's what this deck was going for. I think it was more of a stun control heavy variant, as you can see here with the card of Demise. Pretty cool. I can't even imagine it in the TCG if we had card of Demise at 3 with the Eldlich deck. I think it'd be absolutely crazy. So he's going to be at he's at a lot of advantage here. He's got the Golden Land Forever basically for whatever I top deck, and he's obviously going to get his Conquistador and be able to activate another card of Demise, draw 3, and it's wow, that's going to be almost impossible to beat. He's going to send my remaining back row to the grave. I'm going to attempt to activate it here, but that's just going to cop the Golden Land Forever, and his deck looks like it's going to outgrind me at this point. So during his end turn, he's going to set another Golden Land Forever, as well as another back row. So he's got 5 back row and a monster versus my 1 card. It's not going to cut the mustard, so I choose to scoop it here. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the replays. Now I'll jump into the deck profile with you guys. I'll show you guys the deck, just so you can see the card by card and that sort of thing. Alright guys, so here it is, the deck on paper. As you can see, there is a couple of differences between the TCG and the OCG list because of the banned and the limited cards. The differences we have actually makes a big difference to being able to play Draco in the TCG. It's pretty much unplayable now at the moment, which is reflected in the metagame. You don't see it running around in any of the online tournaments or anything like that. Whereas in the OCG it is quite playable in comparison because they've only really got the diagram limited. As you can see here, 3 Dynamite Knight is the power play monster. It's what made Draco great back in the day, being able to access your Apocalypse directly from the deck and being able to use it during your opponent's turn. Also made it very hard for them to get over your Draco monsters. And being as we have 3 Dynamite Knight in the OCG, we only need the 2 Ignis Heat and the 1 Majesty Maiden to round out the Draco names there. We've got the 3 Magical Broker, which is a great new card coming out in Phantom Rage. They already have it in the OCG. So this card is really, really, really great for Draco because it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects when you have continuous spell or trap, which you have plenty of those being a Draco deck. And also during your opponent's turn quick effect, you can actually send 1 continuous face-up spell or trap to draw a card. Now, why this is good is because you've got cards like Draco Apocalypse, True King's Return, Disciples of True Draco Phoenix, and Heritage, allowing you to basically either pop a spell or trap on their side of the field or pop a monster. So you pop a monster, pop a trap, and get a draw all in one, as well as protection. Absolutely great card for this deck, fantastic. And combined with Safe Zone also, it's an interesting choice because what you can do, you can actually activate Safe Zone on their monster, and then you can pop the Safe Zone, which will allow you to get a draw, and when Safe Zone is sent from the field to the graveyard, it destroys the monster it was basically attached to. Alright, so we've got the 3 Desires for that extra draw power needed in every Draco deck, as well as the 3 Card of Demise, which is at 3 in the OCG, so why would you not abuse it? We've got the 1 Terraforming, we've got the 3 Pot of Duality to access those key cards that you need, as well as the set rotation because we are running a number of field spells, different field spells. So the set rotation works perfectly in this deck, allowing you to have basically more access to your diagram as well as more access to your domain in the True Monarchs that you need to see to lock out your opponent. We got 3 Heritage and 3 Disciples. The really good thing about Draco and their spells and traps is that they basically all have 3 effects, which is insane when you think about it. I mean, this one allows you an extra tribute, you can draw, and you can pop. This one you can recycle, draw, pop, extra tribute. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, the spells and traps in the Draco archetype. We got 1 diagram, reason it's 1, completely fair. I mean, it's a broken card. It can be mashed into other archetypes that enjoy a good destruction as well. We got the 1 Chicken Game, unlimited in the OCG, which is absolutely crazy because it's banned here, but it's a fun card. It's a searchable Upcyclone, like I was saying earlier. We've got the 2 domain of the True Monarchs. This really allows Draco to not have to run an extra deck for starters, which is great because I don't have to show you in the profile, but also it means they can't summon their extra deck when you have a tribute summon monster, which for a lot of decks just flat up finishes their turn, it's game over. Thinking about Dragon Link, you know, Salamangreat, those sorts of decks, it's just done. Same deal with Vanity's Emptiness, being at 1 in the OCG, why when you play it, you don't have to send cards from field to the graveyard, they're all protected from destruction. Especially the Magical Broker and the Draco cards with Diagram. So it works perfectly in this deck. They also have 3 True Kings return. We've only got 1 in the TCG. I feel like it could easily come back to 3, and it probably will in the next couple of lists. There's no reason for it to be 1 at the moment. Draco's doing nothing. But 3 is great to see in the OCG. It allows you to, you know, to access more of your Draco cards, as well as the 3 safe zone, like I was saying, for protection, as well as the popping of the opponent's monsters. And then to round it out, we have the 3 True Draco Apocalypse, one of the best cards in the deck, understandably. So guys, thank you so very much for watching my video. Do appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in and checking it out. Love your comments too, so if you enjoyed it, you know, give us a comment in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos. Hope you guys have a fun day, and we'll see you next time.